And we are live. What is going on, LBHT crew? The Ravens handled business. Somebody hit me up at work today, and they're like, Jose, how you feel about this game? I said, I don't feel anything because they better win. Like that. I don't feel anything in these type of games. If we're supposed to be a Super Bowl caliber team, then we better take care of business. All right, we messed around and lost games that we shouldn't have lost. We put ourselves in a hole a little bit, but that's when the Harbaugh does his best work, when his back's against the wall, right, and when he's playing his little brother. Okay, so I wasn't really nervous about this game. If we're that type of team, if we're that team that can win a Super Bowl, then we win this game. We're the better team. The Chargers are a good team, but we're the better team, right? We went out there and showed it today. I'm happy, right? Don't get me wrong. But it was one of those games where I expected to win. I expect to beat the Eagles next week too. The Eagles look great, but I don't ever expect us to lose to an NFC team. I know it's not realistic, but hey, we've only lost to one under Lamar Jackson, and I don't think it's going to change next week. But tonight, got off to a slow start, but they picked it up. Lamar looked great. Derrick Henry looked great. The offense, I mean, even the defense, after that first drive, they settled down and they did what they needed to do. So I was impressed all around.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good game. It was a slow start, but this is a strong team that they're playing tonight in the Chargers. A good defensive team, pretty good offensive team. I mean, we saw some of their shortcomings on offense later in the game when J.K.'s out of the game and you got to throw the ball to Quentin Johnston, and that's a lot more difficult with J.C. Horn, the one covering him. But it's a good win. Lamar looked good for the most part. He started off a little shaky. But Derrick Henry looked great again tonight. The defense played better, closer to what they played last week as opposed to what they had been playing the first, 6 or 7 weeks or whatever it was. The Chargers had their chances and they just really didn't take advantage of them. But it's still it just keeps Baltimore right in the thick of things. It's a very tight race for that wild card right now. And obviously Baltimore has their eyes on the division, but they're still a little ways back on that. And it's they may be seeing the Chargers again down the line.
Yep. Adrian, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I've been saying it over and over and over and over again ad nauseum. Give 22 the football, bro. When you give him the football early and often, like we did today, you see that it's a different offense. 30 points, 200 plus yards rushing, even Justice Hill with the long 50-yard rush that killed my fantasy playoff dreams. I'm done. Thanks to that. But I'll take the dub anyway because we need to get into the playoffs, man. Like 8-4 right now, only a half game back of Pittsburgh. We see them again at the bank December 21st. Hopefully, it's a different game than what we saw last week at in Pittsburgh. And I just like the way Monken called the game today, and I like what the defense did for the most part too. J.K. Dobbins started out very well for the Chargers. It was a revenge game for him. I guess we put him out of the game. He didn't come back in after halftime, and Gus Edwards couldn't get it going. The ground game couldn't get it going. And like Brodny said, we saw the deficiencies in the Chargers, and that's mainly their wide receiver group. Quentin Johnson, I don't know how many drops he had tonight, but thank you.
One crucial drop, and that could have kept them in the game. I still expected to win, but that drop, ooh,
Oh, that killed them. I was surprised they threw it to him again after that. But he
like,
gotta get my drops in. But yeah, he was wide open running across the field, and his hand said nope.
But that was a knock on him coming out of college as well. I know he was drafted in the first round, and he had all the physical tools. I think he's like 6'4", big body, wide receiver. He can make the difficult catches, but sometimes he just loses concentrations, or he just doesn't have great hands. But I'll take it. And I think Brandon Stevens played a better game today. I know He might have got away with a pass interference on one of those plays, but
That's just
I
called poor defense, man.
it was. I thought it was solid defense. He played well. That PI call on Tre'Davious White, I didn't agree with that. I felt like that was good, solid defense by White. Owe, he looked lost for most of the game, but at the end came on. Pass rush was solid all game long, and I feel like both Orr and Monken called great games. Looked like Greg Roman was going to destroy us, but we settled in and we made the plays that we had to make. Lamar had a one, I think a 122 passer rating, even though he only had 22 attempts in the game. They shut him down on the ground. I feel like Lamar only had 15 yards, but when you get 180 yards from your running backs, pretty much on the ground, you're going to win. I don't know, 80, 90% of the time.
Yeah, yeah. Shout out to our cousin Dave on. Salute to you. Thanks for coming through. Says JK so frail, poor guy. Feel bad for him. It wasn't a season-ending injury, which is what I feared when he went into the locker room. I think it was one of those things. They're being a little cautious about it. I think he'll be fine moving forward because he's having an excellent year. So I want him to continue to have an excellent year. But I didn't miss him in this game. He got off to a very hot start in that first quarter. I was a little nervous, right? But I'm glad it doesn't seem like, at least right now, that it's going to be season ending. It looked like he could have come back in the game if need be. So, yeah. The defense, I like how they played. I like how Brandon Stevens played. The pass interference calls, that's going to happen. I don't think, like some of those calls, I don't even feel like they were pass interference. Like the one on Marlowe, I didn't feel like was pass interference. There's a few. I didn't think the refs did a particularly good job in this game, but that's going to happen. And when that happens, you just keep playing your game, and that's what they did tonight. So hopefully, I'm hoping that this is a sign that they're starting to figure some things out there. I think this is 2 weeks in a row with the defense played solid. They don't need to play great. They just need to play solid. We'll see.
Yeah, I think like I said, they did play better than they had been playing, but there were plenty of opportunities out there on the field that the Chargers didn't take advantage of. So if this is a more talented team in the pass game, I think they would have gotten burned multiple times.
Well, I think that's a little harder to like. I mean, those opportunities are downfield, and it's hard to be accurate downfield when there's pressure on you. Right?
Well, yeah, but there were several plays where they were right there. They were that close to making the play and just didn't make it. They had guys open and Herbert just missed them. The aforementioned Quentin Johnston drop running across the middle. That was 3 yards downfield. Like it wasn't, and he had a couple drops on his own. So like there were plays out there to be made that they just kind of left on the field, but that's part of the game too. Outside of that, the Ravens I thought played pretty well, which is shocking without the heart of their defense, Roquan Smith, out there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Malik Harrison. Shout out to him. He looked tremendous tonight against the run. I don't know if he's the greatest in coverage, but he was sticking his nose in there and making some big hits on the running backs. And also Chris Board looked pretty solid the few times I saw him out there. And Kyle Hamilton's Kyle Hamilton. I think he's bar none the best safety in the NFL right now. Whether you drop him deep, whether he's at the line of scrimmage, the guy just can do it all. He's the one great defense. I was talking to my boy James about this. It's the one great player on the Ravens defense that I feel could play in any era at this point. Rest of these guys are solid. We just need to play middle of the road defense because when we play how we play offensively tonight, we're going to put up 30 points. In almost every game we rush the football like this. And if you hold a team to 20 points, 23 points, you're going to win 30-23. That last touchdown was a garbage time touchdown. We really only gave up 16 points, if you ask me. But final score reads 30-23. I said 31-17. I wasn't that far off. Ravens get the job done, and we move on. But let's not mistake it. we shouldn't have to take losses like we took last week in order to call the game the way it was called this week. If you look at the Ravens numbers, anytime they rush less than 20 times, they pretty much lose every game. Like, give your running backs the football. That's what we're built to do. Our old linemen are not great going backwards. They're much better going forward. And we have the running backs and we have Lamar Jackson. We can run the football and force teams to stack the box against us.
Yeah. You mentioned something earlier too about how they shut down Lamar. I don't think they shut down Lamar running. I think he had a couple opportunities to take off, and he's just like, no, I'm gonna stand in the pocket and make a play. I think he is being cautious with it, and I had no problem with it. I know because he's so dynamic with his feet, and it's like, well, when you have opportunities, why don't you just run? I mean, he doesn't always have to run, and I kind of leave that up to his discretion. You know, most of the time he's gonna make the right decision, and yeah, like he doesn't always have to get a lot of yards to be effective in that sense because look what happened. I mean, look what happened with Derrick Henry all year. I mean, Derrick Henry is having another career year at the age of 30. Look at Justice Hill. He's having a career year. He just had a 50-yard run in tonight's game, his longest of his career, just for the simple fact that Lamar hands the ball off and it looks like a read option, and he could keep the ball, so we got to watch him. And Justice Hill isn't going to hurt us, right? Oh no, yes he is. There he goes streaking down the field, 51 yards, touchdown, right? So that's how he can affect the game. He doesn't. I don't think. I don't think you can shut Lamar down. Lamar can have bad games. Um, well, Harbaugh can shut him down, but he can do it all. He can do it all with his feet and through the air. And I think that's where a lot of teams get themselves in trouble, where it's like we want to commit to stopping him from running, but then he just lights us up through the air. And when his receivers catch the ball like they did tonight, shout out to Rashad Bateman. That was a great catch that he made in the end zone. When they and
Oh, yeah,
even Mark Andrews, when they make those type of catches, they're very hard to beat.
I agree.
I'm gonna give a shot. Let me read some comments here. DDSQ, what's going on? Says Lamar is 20-5 in prime time, best of all time. That is unreal, but somehow media will tell you he can't win big games. Shaking my head. You know what it is, right? The media just needs something to talk about. They need to play heel, right? They need to get clicks, so they're going to say things that are, a little bit contrarian, right? They're not going to sit there and just praise him all the time. I mean, they could and still get views, but hate views, drive people back, right? Because people love going back after a win and say, here, I told you so. What are you gonna say now? They're gonna say the same thing. You just gotta be aware of that. And if that bothers you, don't watch those guys. There's so many other people out there to watch, right? You ain't gotta watch them. Filthy says we got lucky. Dobbins went out. I mean, Dobbins was having a great game. Uh, Early on, I don't want to say great. He was having a good game. Would he continue that? I don't know. We're pretty good at shutting that down. I mean, there have been other games where running backs have started out pretty good and we kind of locked it up. But you know, he's a threat though. He's a weapon. You know, um, definitely would have hurt us more had he been in the game. So Jerry Green, salute to you. Says Malik Harrison made me eat crow tonight. He played solid. Yeah, he did. He played like he wants to be on the field. That's what he played like. So we'll see. Pay the bill says the leg whip was egregious.
Oh yeah, terrible call, terrible call. I was about to mention that too. I don't think I don't think Ricard even hit the rusher in that position. I know he whipped the leg. I think it was inadvertent, but you're dealing with human error when you deal with referees, and they don't have the ability to go back and replay that and say, "Oh, he didn't really make contact." I think even Troy Aikman was like, "Oh, he made contact with the rusher." I mean, I got four eyes. Typically, I had my glasses on and I didn't see it. If y'all saw it,
Yeah,
I'm
but
wrong.
he did whip his leg around, and for a big guy, it stands out more. You know what I mean? Um,
You feel like it
I
was
don't
on
know.
purpose, though? I felt like that's just how he felt. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. Like it seemed a little exaggerated, but like you said, he didn't make contact with anybody, and honestly, like I've seen that happen a couple times to our players. Like I remember, I think it was the Bengals. They just tripped Lamar Jackson. It wasn't even a leg whip. They just tripped him. They didn't even call anything. They did it another time to somebody else. I can't remember if they called it then either. But I don't know. I just get up, Pat McCarver. You too big for that. Get up. So yeah. But I mean, you could pick that call. You can pick a bunch of calls. I think they had a lot of bad calls in this game, and I guess the good thing about being penalized so often is doesn't really affect us. We're used to it,
Mhm.
right? We get a lot of calls, good or bad. We get a lot of them. I think that's the one good thing that could serve us when it comes to time for the playoffs is uh, having to play getting called back isn't going to really affect our mentality because we're used to getting calls. Plays get called back. We're used to holding and pass interference calls, all the calls, you name it, offense and defense aside, we're used to it. They'll still play their game. Whereas the other team, that can unravel them. You know,
Yeah,
so
I just wish John could play Jim every week because it brings out something in him. He becomes more intellectual. He becomes more competitive. You don't see that panic. I didn't see any panic on his face. It's like he's playing his brother in
no,
the backyard. It looked like the Turkey Bowl when he goes against Tomlin and Reed. He
so
looked
very
like a
see.
deer in headlights against those guys. But when he sees Jim on the other side, and I guess maybe his dad was there, maybe Jack and Jackie were there as well. Um, I didn't see them pan to them in the stands, but I imagine they were there. I think it's just a comfort level with the family being there because typically when we get down 7 points, especially when we get down two possessions, we stray away from the run. Brodny says it all the time. When teams get down in the NFL, they're not going to run the football like that. We got down 10-0 in this game and still had what 37 rush attempts in a game that we were down 10-0.
Yeah,
When have the Ravens ever done that? I can't recall.
yeah, and that's when we got back in the game. I was surprised that we went down 10-0. I was like, all right, we they about to switch up. Like they're about to change all this, but to their credit, they stuck to their game plan. And again, yeah, you're right. I think it is because he has that familiarity with his brother, and it's that it gives him that calmness, knowing that hey, I got his number. We're fine. We don't have to change anything up. So this game, like I said, even when we went down 10-0, I wasn't really nervous. I was like, we can get back in this game. And they did. They did just that. Scored a touchdown, and even the crowd was kind of taken out of it once they scored a touchdown because they kind of knew like, hey, we about to blow this, you know. And that's exactly what happened. Going to halftime with the lead, and we kind of cruised from there. I liked how they managed the second half. So
Yeah,
no,
and
good win. We need to win like this again next week, right? I know Philly they look really good
he looked
last
tremendous.
night. They look really good. We try to tell y'all about Saquon over here. We try to tell y'all about Saquon. All right.
Yeah,
Just because we said we'd rather have Saquon or Josh Jacobs, right? To be fair, we said we'd rather have Saquon or Josh Jacobs because they're younger and they're also good talents. Saquon is just a better running back than Derrick Henry, right? That's not a diss of Derrick Henry. Obviously, Derrick Henry is still great. It's not a diss. Saquon is more talented and he's younger. That's why we wanted him. And you can use him in passing plays. But he's showing you with the Eagles why he's that guy. He shows you he like the only concern was him getting hurt. And that happens. And I get that. But look, man, I'm happy with what Derrick Henry's doing. Obviously, he's having a great season. I ain't mad at it, and I just need him to go and do that and show him up the Eagles next week because and we need to shut down Saquon. Okay.
well, me personally, Derrick Henry, DH, last king. If you listen, I don't agree. I'd rather have you. I love the physical style of football that you play. Love Saquon Barkley, great player, second best running back in the game. DH, you the strongest, you the best, you the EST of running backs right now. You know, you the EST, bro. You know what I mean? And we need you to do what you did tonight, because when you play like that, we can beat Kansas City in January, and
Absolutely.
we can go to Arrowhead and beat them if you go out there with 140, 150 yards and just pound them into oblivion. Chris Jones don't want to tackle you 25 times a game. TJ Watt don't want to tackle you 25 times a game. Joey or Nick Bosa, the whole Bosa family, none of them want to tackle you 25 times a game. So please, Monken, please, Harbaugh, please, Ed DeCosta, everybody that got something to do with the Ravens, if y'all listening, give the football to Derrick Henry and then allow Lamar to cook off of that, because defenses have to play us different when they know we're going to continuously pound the football. And in the fourth quarter, they all going to wear down and fold.
Whoa, filthy. He says Henry's overrated. Henry's not overrated.
Oh, man. Man. How
He's
many
not
yards he got
overrated.
right now? 1,300 some yards?
He said he'd be mid if he was on any other team. Now, I don't think he would be as good. There's definitely a Lamar effect, a Lamar boost when you play with him, for sure, right? Which is why I think if Saquon Barkley was here, he probably had like 1,400 yards right now. But you definitely get a boost. But Derrick Henry is not, like he's the real deal. Like he's been getting these yards. He's been getting yards with a bum quarterback in Tennessee, a bum O-line in Tennessee. Like he does this for real. I just thought he would slow down at age 30, and the amount of carries he's had up to this point, I just thought, it would catch up to him. But he has done a good job keeping his body in shape, right? He does like LeBron does, spend almost like $1 million a year on his body, and it pays off. So he's been able to stall off the aging process somewhat. And I mean, look, man, like I'm not mad. I got no regrets right now about getting him. Now, next year after, and Saquon's still doing it, and Derrick Henry does slow down, I'll be wishing that we had Saquon, but I ain't worried about that. I'm worried about right now. I want to win the Super Bowl right now, and Derrick Henry is definitely having us in position to do that. He drags people, yes, he does. He drags them. He runs them over. There's that one play. I think it was on a third or fourth down. He stiffed armed two people to get that first down because the blocking wasn't there for us, of course. Let's see. Okay, B said he'll be back. Okay. All right, no problem, B. Let's see. Saquon's better than Henry. Yeah. I would take Saquon over Henry. That doesn't mean I'm not happy with Henry.
All right, but can we reserve judgment until they go head to head next week? M&T Bank. Can we reserve judgment until then?
No, because I mean that doesn't mean anything, right? Like, I mean, it's nice to see them both play each other, like their teams play each other. But Saquon, they're both right there, right? Saquon is having, I mean, you could argue who's having a better season. Saquon has more yards. Derrick Henry has more touchdowns, right? And Saquon has a little bit more receiving yards, but they're both right there. I mean, like I said, if you like Derrick Henry the way he plays, that's cool. I just think Saquon is a more talented running back. My guy Antonio, what's going on? Says, what up, peeps? Glad we won't. Still got lots. Oh, glad we won. He really meant. Still got lots to clean up. We have to start fast now. Every game is a playoff game from here on out. Yeah. I mean, the things that we need to clean up, I just don't know if we can clean up. Like, well, the penalties we can clean up. That's the one thing we can clean up. Daniel Falele, I just don't think there's any help for that man.
You didn't see him clearing the way for one of Derrick Henry's biggest plays tonight?
Yes, and that's the highlight of his career. I also saw him out there just kicking grass, not blocking anybody, right? A couple of times.
Better than that than holding.
Well, you know what they need to do? they got to institute some sort of fine system, especially for the combination of Lele and Pat McCarry. Like them dudes should be giving half their game check back for all the holdings and legal man downfields and false starts that they get between them. And we are number one in the league far and away in penalties. I think that we've been able to overcome that in a lot of games, but when you're playing against well coached, well disciplined, talented playoff teams, you might not be able to overcome that. And I agree, we have a lot to clean up. But good thing is, it's only November. The last month of the season is when you want to be playing your best football going into the playoffs, and I think we have the opportunity to do that. Philly's a really good team. We still have Pittsburgh on the schedule. We still have the Texans, who are a solid team, even though they had a bad loss against Tennessee last week. So I think that over the last month of the season, we'll see if the Ravens are contenders or pretenders.
Yeah. So Julian, he says, let's see Saquon get 1,300 yards behind Daniel Falele. Look, we don't need to. We don't need to do this, right? No, our O line isn't good, but we have a great quarterback who gives every running back a boost, right? When you have the threat of Lamar Jackson, that helps. That helps any running back get that little extra time to to shoot a gap and make a play, right? Derrick Henry is taking advantage of that. Now Saquon has a really good O line in Philly. They both have some advantages in the offenses that they're playing. It's not he's playing behind a bad O line, because when Saquon Barkley was a rookie, I'm looking at the stats right now: 1,300 yards rushing, 11 touchdowns, 721 yards receiving, 4 touchdowns. You think the Giants had a good O line?
Well, and listen, Gus Edwards had 9 carries for 11 yards tonight. Y'all used to tell me he was a top 10 back, top 15 back in the league. Look what he is when he's not standing behind Lamar Jackson. Yeah. Look at Derrick Henry last year. He wasn't doing this last year in Tennessee. Every player who plays with Lamar gets a boost. The same thing happened in Washington with Alfred Morris. He ran for 1,600 yards as a rookie, undrafted free agent, or maybe was he a 6th-round pick? Maybe I don't think he was undrafted.
He might have been drafted late.
Yeah. When you're playing next to a quarterback who's a threat to run, the defense opens up because they have to guard both of you.
Yeah. All right, but is Saquon getting that Jalen Hurts boost because he had to respect his ability to tuck it and run?
Jalen Hurts can't run. Jalen Hurts ain't like that.
I think Jalen Hurts getting a Saquon boost.
Jalen Hurts ain't nothing but TJ Duckett.
Man, he's what, 650 pounds, bro. Come on.
Listen,
that's why he's TJ Duckett.
And he still needs everybody on the field to push him into the end zone. Imagine that.
Yeah. Shout out to Danny. Y'all listen to Danny. There's 90 in the chat, almost 100 now in the chat on the late night stream. Yes, indeed. Hit the like and subscribe.
Danny, we do not have Snapchat enabled.
Snapchat not enabled. No.
He's the donations.
Yes, the donations are enabled. The super chat is what she meant. Yes. The super chats are now enabled. For the small donations, we would appreciate it. Go ahead and hit the super chat. If you're gonna hit over $15 and $20, hit up the Cash App, okay? $ LBHTShow, or hit the pin link that you see in the chat box, okay? That's where we prefer the larger donations to go. Plus, we give you a nice animation on the screen. Microphone Man will do the Park Heights strut for you. All right, we'll read your comment live on air. But all donations are welcome.
What's up, Tough Puppy?
Tough Puppy, what is going on?
What's up, man? It's been
good to see you, man.
And also, just to go back to the last point, Saquon is leading the league in yards before contact by a wide margin. But Derrick Henry's number 2. So stop acting like your O-line ain't opening up massive holes for Derrick Henry.
Yeah. Which I want to see them keep doing. I got to stress that. I don't think they're a good O-line. I want them to get good. Mm-hmm. I cannot stress that enough. I want Daniel Falele to be consistent with those type of blocks that will open up big runs for him every play, every game. So that is my hope. I'm not sitting here saying that they're gonna stay this way. I hope they get better. I don't know if they will, but I hope they get more consistent by the time playoffs comes around. And I think that's what Harbaugh and crew are hoping on too, is that these guys start to put it together in the playoffs. Because from where they started, I mean, they looked awful,
Mhm.
god awful. Now they look a little bit more respectable, right? Those penalties, my God. But if they figure out a way to clean those up going into the playoffs, we'll be in business.
Yeah, and I
Same
think
thing with. No, go
my
ahead.
bad. I think
No,
Ronnie Stanley has had a very solid season. It just looked like for a while that he was never going to be the guy that he was back in 2018 or so, 2019 when he showed himself to be one of the top O linemen in the league. He was dealing with nagging injuries, and then last year, I think he played most of the season, but he just looked like a shell of himself. You hardly hear his name called, and when you're an O lineman, that's a good thing because
yeah,
you're not getting penalties, you're not getting beat for sacks, and you're playing good football. So shout out to Ronnie Stanley for really turning it around and becoming one of the best linemen in the league again. And I heard something in the game Sunday night. They called a play near the goal line, Ronnie Stanley. I'm like, that's respect right there when they name a play after you. And I don't know why they called it Ronnie Stanley. I don't think the play was successful at all. I don't think they scored on the play, but
and Davon
shout
has a
out to
question
him.
about that. Davon has a question about that. Says, do we pay Ronald again or move RR over to the left? Talking about
Nope.
Rosengarten,
Roosevelt.
Rosengarten. Do not put Roger Rosengarten over on the left. He needs to learn how to play right tackle still. You absolutely pay Ronnie Stanley. Um, Ronnie Stanley and shout out to coach. He's right on time, right? If you watch the Ravens roundup, and I know you all do over on Sip to Tally Films, you would hear me and Brodny defend Ronnie Stanley often last year, saying that we don't think he's washed. You can't just get rid of him because he's been hurt. He had to play hurt last year because EDC didn't do a good job with his O line, and he wasn't afforded the time to properly heal. He had to go out there and play hurt, so he wasn't playing at his best. And we stressed like you cannot get rid of him, and then he gets 100%, and then you find out he's still very good, right? And that turned out to be the case. He's still very good. He's one of the top tackles in the league again, and you're going to have to pay him a whole lot of money. He's going to get paid a whole lot of money this offseason, and you better pay it because you already saw what their plan is for the O-line with Ronnie Stanley, and it doesn't look good. What's the plan for next year without Ronnie Stanley? Like you get rid of Ronnie Stanley, are you saying draft the left tackle in the first round? Nobody's saying that. Nobody thinks that's going to happen. So the answer is you don't have an answer. So you better pay this man. I'm shocked that they haven't paid him already. Yeah.
To answer Filthy's question that he's been asking for a bit now, no, Rashad Bateman is not actually your number one. That is Zay Flowers. He gets a lot more targets, has a lot more catches, more yards. They have the same number of touchdowns. But no, Rashad has been playing well for Rashad, but he's not the number one in Baltimore.
No, he's not the number one, and that's fine. He's playing his role. That's fine. I mean, I'm very happy with how he played tonight. The problem is just the consistency for me, right? I don't like you make a good catch, and then another game like you're making drops and you're not making up for those drops. That's just what it is. But he's good in the role that he's in.
Well, I want to see something from Deontay Johnson because B, I remember you saying he was better than Zay, or at least as
Mhm.
good or around that. I know he's trying to get acclimated to a new team, new city, new quarterback, but he ain't showing me nothing out there. He
No,
half the time
look,
he's falling over his own feet.
he's gotten open several times. They haven't had connected yet, right? Like he fell down on the one a few games ago. Lamar missed him on two plays when he was open last week, and then tonight, they had the the penalty it was when he went to Deontay tonight. I don't know. Like they don't seem interested in really getting him involved, which kind of goes with the reporting on it that they just did it for insurance. Which I mean, whatever. I guess if you want to just sit him on the bench for insurance, I guess that's up to you.
Okay. They need to get Deontay Johnson involved. They need to get
Keaton Mitchell.
Keaton Mitchell involved. Now I understand Justin Hill is having a career year. He's playing great. He's playing clutch football, right? But like we said, Keaton Mitchell only needs, you can't give him 3 or 4 carries, right? Like that just adds more, more firepower to that offense. Like you can't find plays for him to get in there and try to break a couple of home runs. Like that's what I'm not understanding.
I feel like he only has one carry in what, 3 games
Yeah, that's
and
that.
a handful of snaps. I saw him on special teams last week. I didn't see him on the field at all. I don't think he broke a sweat. Uniform clean today.
Phineas said Deontay is in the relationship with the ground. He fell down today. Yeah, I think it's the second week in a row he fell down. Yeah.
No, he got tripped. He didn't fall.
Oh, he got tripped. Okay.
I mean, he fell afterwards, yes, but I mean, he didn't just fall over like he did a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, he was looking for the PI call, but the ball was, I feel like, probably uncatchable. Maybe if it had been thrown a little lower.
That's not PI anyway. They don't call it if your feet get tangled up, which I always thought was kind of a cheat code for DBs, but apparently not because they don't do it. Like just turn your head back and kick the dude's foot in front of you every time downfield.
Josh says maybe we're saving Keaton. I know that's too optimistic, but why the hell not? What are you saving him for? I mean, if he's healthy to play, then he needs reps, right? He can't not play this whole time, and then when we need him to play, he doesn't know what he's doing because he hasn't gotten any reps. Now's the time to get him some reps. We're not saying give him 15 carries. Let him get 3 or 4 carries, right?
Yeah, I mean, don't you want to see how the defense plays him or how they adjust to him? Like putting him on the field will give you a better idea as to how defenses will align when he's out there. And imagine a package where you put him out there with DH or you put him out there with Justice, and you got 3 guys that are a threat to run with the football. Like just give defenses a different look. You have all of these weapons. The Ravens have an embarrassment of riches. I mean, Isaiah Likely, it's almost like he's invisible half of the time. I don't know if he did anything today catching the football. And it's hard to get everybody on the team involved. We just have so many talented players, but you want to get the best players on the field and give them the opportunity to show that.
Maybe we're saving Deontay Johnson. Yeah.
For Carolina.
I'm laughing at it, but Josh and Coach, that's the kind of mentality that John Harbaugh has. He likes to preserve things and hold on to things and try to give you something like some sort of wrinkle that you've never seen when it gets to the playoffs. He's done that his whole time in Baltimore. He holds on to plays, he holds on to certain types of looks and everything like that, thinking, well, if I show my hand now, they'll be ready for it in the playoffs. And that's why we always get into the playoffs and we do things that we're just like, well, why did we do that? Because he thinks he's outsmarting people when he gets there, right? He thinks, well, we'll run, and then we get to the playoffs, we'll pass, and nobody will see it coming. And that's true. Not even our own players see it coming. All right. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's the thought. Hey, we'll keep Keaton Mitchell fresh and healthy, and we'll unleash him in the playoffs. But then we'll unleash him in the playoffs, and he'll end up fumbling the ball, or running the wrong route, or from Deontay Johnson or something like that. No, man, get them active, get them going. These teams all know what each other run, right? Like they know what each team runs. They know what you do for the most part. It's about executing. It's about well-timed plays, right? And execution. I said execution first, but execution twice, all right? Like, you got to execute, right?
Well, and it's about talent.
It's
You
about
know,
talent. Yeah.
you get to the playoffs and you're playing the better teams, you're playing the better coaches, then they have guys who will be able to do things that that Quentin Johnston and Lad McConkey can't do. You know,
Yeah. So let's see. We'll read a few more comments to get out of here. 100 people in the chat. Hit the like button. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button. Um, we usually do a live show on Wednesday. There will be no live show this week, but we'll have some recorded content for you. So be on the lookout on Wednesday, 7:15 p.m. Eastern time. There'll be something that goes out. All right. So we hope you guys enjoy it. Let's see who else got in here. Pay the Bill says, yeah, but he holds on to the predictable stuff. Yeah, John Harbaugh does. Yeah, he does. There's so many reasons why I don't think John Harbaugh is a great coach, and I think he should be fired. Right? I mean, that's one of them. Uh, Davon says the offense we have now is light years better than the 2019 team. We should be flaming teams. I agree.
It's
I'm glad
it's
we did it.
it's
You said
far
what?
more talented. I mean, we had Willie Snead out there, Seth Roberts. I'm trying to think of the guys we had. Who was our tight end out there besides Andrews?
We
Was it
had
Hurst?
we had Boykin.
Miles,
Yeah,
shout out Miles Boykin. I mean,
yeah,
and we
yeah.
had
We had Hayden Hurst and Andrews. Um, yeah, Hayden Hurst and Andrews. I
Mark
think
Ingram the
Nick Boyle,
second.
Mark Ingram.
well, you
Yeah,
had Hollywood,
Oh yeah, we
yeah,
did have
Hollywood.
Hollywood. I forgot about Hollywood.
but you know what else y'all are forgetting? Every Ravens fan and most people on the planet saying that team was unstoppable.
Hmm. They looked
Until we
unstoppable.
played the Tennessee Titans and Ryan Tannehill
Hmm.
somehow got down 14-0, and then Lamar threw 51 times in the football game because we forgot we had a historic rushing offense, which we always do when we get down. And tonight was evidence that you don't have to abandon the run just because you get down 2 scores.
Yep, Devin Duvernay. Yeah,
Oh, dude, shout out dude. He went to Jacksonville and then I forgot he was in the league.
I remember there was, we used to have these roundtables on Engraven's channel, and we would debate with other Ravens YouTubers about these wide receivers, and you know they just need a chance. Duvernay, Prochet, Boykin, like we have this talent. We just they just need an opportunity. That word opportunity got used so much. I banned the word opportunity from our channel for a while. I was like, nobody's allowed to say it. I'm blocking the word opportunity. Okay. These guys just need opportunities, right? We don't need talent. We need opportunity. Right. And they got their opportunity, and now people are like, yeah, let's get some talent in here. My bad, coach. My bad. I didn't mean to say Prochet. Okay.
Pro say trash,
He's not trash. He's not.
absolute trash
He's
on the
not.
field.
That's a training
Yeah.
camp all star.
I
Light it up
I
in
don't.
Owens Mills.
We also got into it with Prochet's uncle. I didn't tell you that story, Adrian. His uncle had a word with us. Okay.
Wait, you ever being too hard on Prochet like Bateman?
We weren't being hard. We were being very fair, and he realized that after we had a conversation. He wasn't really mad at us. He said he didn't like certain words that be used, and I was like, well, you use it on other players, don't you? And he's like, okay, yeah, you got me, right? So.
What'd you call him? B? You called him a bum?
No, I call him trash. I mean, listen. I'm looking at 281 yards and 0 touchdowns for his career.
Mm.
He ain't a rookie.
That's a good game for Jamar Chase.
That's not even
He
a good game for
played
Jamar Chase.
5 years.
No touchdowns. He
He had
had
0 touchdowns.
Zero receiving touchdowns. He might have scored some other way. I don't know. No.
Justin Lewis. Shout out to Justin Lewis. Says this is his first time watching us. Well, salute to you, Justin. Thanks for coming through. I hope you like the show. All right, we do this every Wednesday at 7:15 p.m. Eastern time, and also after Ravens and Panthers games. Typically, we didn't go live after the Panthers game. We should have. Very entertaining game. I'm
I was
very
upset at
happy.
that too. I was upset, man. Because
Yeah.
the Panthers played so well, and you just knew Patrick Mahomes was going to pull it out at the end.
Well,
It's crazy.
they gave him a minute 40. I did check. He has not scored a touchdown, which I want to point out because people were talking about that Dallas Cowboy who recovered the onside kick and ran it back for a touchdown when all he had to do was go down and they could have kneeled out the game. Instead, Washington had another chance to score and tie it right after they had thrown that 86-yard touchdown. But no, certain players only have one, maybe two shots at getting in that end zone in the NFL.
Yeah.
And that dude picked up that ball and he knew that was his moment. And he was
Yeah.
never going to get another shot to score on an NFL field, most likely. So
Absolutely.
you take that to the house every time.
Yeah, I'm scoring and I'm keeping the ball.
Yeah.
You know, do we win after this? That's up to y'all. I did my job.
Like don't come back to me because the defense gave up another 80-yard touchdown.
Yeah.
Yeah, all for the kicker to miss the extra point. I know he got to be the sickest man in America.
Scary Terry's amazing too, man.
Yeah,
a great player.
What's going on, Ferris? I see we have a streamer here. Yes, we do. Yeah.
And you're just in time because we're about to talk about why everyone is here. Bryce Young.
Daniel Jones?
Bryce Young in the Carolina. But just real quick to wrap up, Carolina played a really tough game. The defense held up for the most part. They gave away that first 7 real quick. But they held up better than you would expect against Kansas City's offense, considering the lack of talent and the injuries that they have on defense. There were some issues in the wide receiver core. We have ourselves a Quentin Johnston clone and Xavier Legette. Dropped a couple easy ones, but Bryce was outstanding against Kansas City. He was very confident. He was making quick decisions. He putting more velocity on the ball than we've seen in forever. And had several outstanding throws. He was throwing the ball all over the field. If he can continue to play like that week in and week out, then they're good at quarterback. But, they still have 5 or 6 more games to see if he's that guy.
Well, say that thought because that's going to be we're going to do a deep dive on that for a Wednesday show that comes out.
I'm sorry. Tough Puppy says, "Nah, don't do my boy Legette like that." How would you like me to talk about Legette? Did you see the pass he dropped?
Oh, that was bad. That was an excellent pass. Put it right in his hands. Those are the type of passes you gotta catch it, man.
Well, his name is Legette, not Hendet. And obviously he ain't got the hands he need, man. But he looks good, man. I thought Coco was supposed to have a breakout game. I didn't see that. And did he play well?
You said who?
People were saying Coker was going to have a breakout game.
Oh, he didn't play. He didn't play. He was in.
He didn't even play.
No. He was hurt. And Jonathan Brooks made his debut, but they didn't really give him the ball. He had 2 carries.
Who's that wide receiver? Moore. He looked good.
Oh yeah, Moore played well.
David Moore has been the de facto number 1 receiver, which tells you, more than you want to know about our wide receiving core.
The ghost of Adam Thielen.
That's a dude who David Moore's a dude who was struggling to hang on to a roster spot in Seattle for several years. Adam Thielen. Watching Adam Thielen try to run is so depressing.
He's 98 years old.
It's so depressing.
Even his celebrations are old man celebrations. I was like, what are you doing?
He did the Trump
I'm
dance?
dancing. That's right, Davon. I'm the only one supporting Channel 3. Where's your hoodie, haters?
Tough Puppy says Legette is like that, man. Give him time. What is he like? I'd like an answer to that, Tough Puppy. What is he like? What do you mean?
He told you he's like that.
What do you mean? What is that? Describe that. Because I'm going to describe his production so far. Garbage. 11 games. Now, I mean, not I shouldn't say garbage because James Prochet is trash. So he's obviously better than that. He has 4 touchdowns so far, 340 yards, 4 touchdowns through 11 games is not good enough. That's less than what Mingo was producing on the dysfunctional Panthers last year, and they traded that dude for a 4th-round pick. So I'm not sure what Legette is like, but he's not like a wide receiver 1. He's not like a wide receiver 2 or anything like that. So, I understand if you like him. He's a very likable young man, and I'm rooting for him. But he has to catch the ball.
Yeah. He's got to step it up. Chaos says Ravens going to take that comp pick from Danny Dimes and draft the injured player. The fact that we joke about this, right, tells you that EDC is doing an awful job.
Please don't do it. Don't do it. I knew this was going to come up. You can't bring him over here, man. He's going to bring that loser energy here. Let him sit at home and count that $96 million.
I'm sorry. At what point did Daniel Dimes become a loser? He took little to no talent and got himself $40 million a year on being a starting quarterback in the NFL.
Well, he's not a loser at B. He's not a loser at life. He's a winner at life. He's a loser at football.
I mean, he beat Lamar Jackson though.
But he's the only one.
He's the only one that beat Lamar in the NFC somehow.
Right. That
was Wink that beat Lamar.
That's why you got to bring him in.
That was Wink Martindale.
God forbid he signs with another AFC team and that quarterback gets hurt and you go up against Daniel Jones in the playoffs. What would you do?
If they're really interested, I mean, we're gonna talk more about this on the Wednesday show too. I don't want to give too much away, but if they're really that interested in bringing in Daniel Jones, why didn't they go and get a backup quarterback in the offseason? This is the problem I have with EDC, man. Like, you waste time with your Josh Johnsons, what's the name, the Leary kid that they drafted that you knew was gonna make the team. Like they bring these guys that they know they don't really believe in. Go get a backup quarterback then. Mm-hmm. Go and get somebody that you feel comfortable with, right? Like, you're acquiring all these picks and you don't have any real plans for them. You're just throwing things at a wall and seeing what sticks. That's not being a good GM. That's not doing your due diligence. Go and get guys that you know can play, especially in the year where you're trying to win a Super Bowl. These are things that you can do when you're kind of rebuilding a little bit, right? Because as long as you have Lamar, you're not truly ever going to rebuild. But if we had won it all last year and you're like, okay, well, now I want to make another run, but I want to build a team up with young guys, so let's get some guys in here and develop them. That's different. But we didn't win it, and you recognize that you need some talent in here, which is why you brought in Derrick Henry. That's not a young guy that you're trying to develop, So go and get the O-line to match. You need a backup quarterback. Go and get a backup quarterback. Go do those things in the offseason. Don't wait to see who's going to be available and try to compete with everybody else. Because, I mean, and no, if Daniel Dimes is in the game, there's a reason why he's available. He's got talent. He can make all the throws. He's athletic, but he makes terrible decisions. Mm-hmm. So I don't want him on the team.
He is a better backup than Josh Johnson. Like, no matter what you think about Daniel Jones, and I am no Daniel Jones fan. No. He is a better person to send out on the field than Josh Johnson.
Really? Josh Johnson played for 34 teams, and it's only 34 in the league.
That mean he been cut 35 times.
Yeah.
Just imagine his basement, all the jerseys he got down there.
All of them. All of them. His man, look, he's got some NFL stories to tell. All right.
Yeah, he's been on every franchise.
Yeah.
He played for every Harbaugh that exists. You know what I mean? Like, he's been around forever. But I appreciate him because that man keeps a job, man.
Yeah,
Shout
I
out to
appreciate historians too. Like, you got a lot of stories to tell. You can pass down some wisdom. I don't want him throwing a football during an NFL game. Not for a team I'm cheering for. Is that what? Is that
No.
what you? I didn't want him throwing a football during an NFL preseason game for a team that I was cheering for. Like, that didn't go that well.
What was the kid we had last year? Brown? What happened to him? We just cut him? He wasn't
Yeah,
good enough?
he'd been gone. Him and they got rid of the other kid too. I forget
We
his
had
name.
McSorley at one point. I don't know what happened to him.
Well, here's the thing. What happened to all of them? Like, not to get into the specifics of each one because it doesn't really matter. What happened to all of them is they can't play football.
Yeah,
On an
not
NFL
at this level. Yeah, so all right, we can wrap this up. Still 80 people in here. Shout out to y'all, man. Hit that like button if you're new in here. It's your first time. Hit that subscribe button. Okay, appreciate y'all coming through. Tough puppy, man. Haven't seen you in a while. I'm glad you came through. Justin Lewis, man, welcome to the channel, man. Hit that subscribe button. All right, Chris White, I see you in here. Cousin Davon's in the house. Chaos in the house. We had Danity in here earlier. Appreciate you, Danity. All right, just a bunch of people in here. RJ, I see you. It says more Deontay Johnson, more Deontay Johnson. Okay, all right. Shiloh says we need a pass rusher, elite wide receiver one, and elite cornerback. Yeah, those things you got to pay for. So you can't just say, "Hey, we need this," and then when there's an opportunity to get that person, you say, well, we can't afford that guy, right? Those guys cost money, and if you don't want to see your team spend money on that guy, don't say we need that guy, right? You get what you pay for in this league. We had shot to go and trade for Marshawn Lattimore, and they didn't want to do it. That's why I keep telling y'all, man, don't believe what they say about how they want this team run, right? They don't really want the team run the way you think they want run. They want to run it on a budget. That's why we drafted a cornerback and not go out and pay for a cornerback, right? That's why we're drafting these young tackles and guards and hoping they work out instead of going out and paying for some guards. Carolina got two really good guards that we could have gotten. We said no.
I like Ali because he always says things like this. Send Daniel Jones to Carolina. Why? Our backup is better than yours.
Andy Dalton?
Yeah.
Yeah, he might be better than Danny Dimes too. Danny Nichols.
Given enough rest, he is better than Daniel Jones, but he can't keep it up.
Well, we gotta remember that. You gotta remember Bashadi. He made his fortune as a staffing guy, and as a guy that's worked for a lot of staffing agencies in his life, I'll tell you, they're cheap as hell. You know what I mean? Yeah. So
tech systems, right?
Tech systems, yeah, that's him right there.
Mm-hmm.
And he became a billionaire by cutting costs and paying people less than what they're worth. And that's what he does with the Ravens. He pays people less than what they're worth in the high price for some people who don't
pay. Yeah. Hey, salute to you for the donation, man. Appreciate you.
Oh yeah.
Have 5 for Danny Nickel.
5 for Danny Nickel, man. We don't want him though. Please, wherever you are right now, stay there, Danny. You know, you made $96 million. They had to pay him $96 million to go away. Just imagine somebody telling you your services are no longer needed, but here's $96 million.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I would never do anything again.
Yeah. Tough Puppy says it all right here. He says Andy Dalton off rest is just Tom Brady. And that's nothing but facts. If they could schedule every game 6 weeks apart, Carolina would go 17-0.
Oh, Aerotech, not Tech Systems. Aerotech.
Aerotech.
Wait, I think Aerotech and Tech Systems.
I thought they were the same company.
I think they were. I'm not 100% sure on that.
Yeah. It's a cheap bastard.
Purple Pops thinks our podcast is remedial. Don't worry, Purple. I got you. There you go.
Tell him to spell it.
Couldn't find the door on his own though.
Yeah, there you go. Let me help you. Let me help you on your way out. Yeah. He owns all 3.
You own all three, exactly. It's probably because we talk bad about management. You know, a lot of people love to lick the boots of management.
Oh yeah.
And I'll say this tongue in cheek. You know, Jose's my manager in real life. You know what I mean? And I still don't like management boots. So let's talk about the players over here, baby.
Yeah. Aerotech Tech Systems and one other. Okay, yeah. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. But
Come on, dude.
Dropping facts. Where else you gonna get that from?
Danny said I wasn't sure who he was talking about. I was just about to ask. I hate when I miss.
She's ready to boot somebody out.
hey, you know what? And if you, I mean, look, if you wasn't talking about us, you know, man, be clear with your message. Be clear with your message. But all right, it is past midnight. All right, we hit the hour mark. We appreciate y'all. All right, the Ravens got a much needed win. Okay, coming off a much needed loss from the Steelers. Talk about easy come, easy go, man. They were riding high for about 3 days, 3 or 4 days until they gave up that big win from us, losing to the Browns on the road. That hurts them because they got a tough schedule coming up. Coach predicted that loss for them accurately. I think he said he had them losing the next 3 games. So coaches, he's a coach and he knows his football. Let's hope his predictions come right. I think we're going to go on a little win streak here. We got a tough team in Philly coming up. That's at home. And obviously, I think they're beatable. And especially them being an NFC team. And especially us having Lamar. So, let's go out there and handle business. And we'll see. I think by the time we play the Steelers again, we may already be back in first place, depending on how they're looking. But that game will definitely determine whether or not we take the first place title. I don't think it's the end of the world if we're not AFC North champions, but I don't want to get swept by the Steelers, right? So, but all right, y'all. AJ, man, let the people know where they can find you.
Yeah, hit me up on all social media at the Sunglass Kid, DASUNGLASSKID. I also predicted that Steelers lost as well. And that game next week, it's going to come down to who run the football better. You got Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson against Saquon Barkley and Jalen Fraudulent Hurts. So let's see what happens.
Oh, man.
Look, we starting early. And Shang, we got y'all next week. Shang, I'm going to see you.
I'm a Jalen Hurts apologist, man. I like Jalen Hurts, man. I love his story. And I'm, I believe in Jalen Hurts. Yes, he has a story.
What story you got?
He was wrongfully benched for Tua.
No, see, that's what I'm saying. I thought you meant off the field. He had no story. He got benched because he
benched. He was wrongfully benched for Tua. He transferred to Oklahoma, where he built his draft stock up because it looked like he wasn't going to get drafted. He ended up going in the second round, right? And they tried to put him as a backup. And it turns out he was the man. Okay.
Yeah. So what actually happened was he got benched because he sucked. Tua came in and won them a championship.
He didn't suck though.
Yes, he did. He wasn't very good at Alabama. And then
he didn't suck.
Then Jalen transferred to Oklahoma, and Lincoln Riley got a hold of him and won him. Got his draft stock up and everything, like he's done to several other frauds. And now he got to the NFL. Carson Wentz is the worst person who's ever played quarterback, apparently. Nobody wants anything to do with him. And he walked into a starting role with arguably the most talented team in the league at the time.
Yeah.
No, so okay. I mean, I know we joke about this fraud thing. He's not a fraud. Daniel Jones is a fraud.
Sure.
Daniel Jones is a fraud, which is why he's on the street.
No, because nobody thinks he's good. People think
not anymore.
That's why I say he's a fraud. Nobody. Ferris is the only one who ever really thought Daniel Jones was good.
Daniel Jones was drafted 6th overall.
Yeah, because he knows Eli and Peyton.
Oh, okay.
But once he actually played in the NFL, nobody said he was good.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts, he's a solid quarterback, but he ain't a top 5 guy, and we're gonna see that on Sunday, definitely.
Hopefully, I hope this defense keeps it going. Right. I hope 2 weeks in a row they haven't given up a touchdown pass. We'll see, man. We'll see. The Eagles are dangerous, but yes, I think we will beat them. All right. So we'll see. All right,
So
y'all.
the chat telling you he was not wrongfully benched.
Yes, he was wrongfully benched. Okay, and that's the final word on it. Y'all really believe in Tua? You want to talk about fraudulent? Okay.
Tua ain't a fraud. Look at Miami when he ain't playing, and then look at him when he is, and he ain't a fraud.
Look at Tua look at Tua without Tyreek Hill.
Okay, look, I'm not saying he's the greatest quarterback of all time or anything, but look at Miami, who still has Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle when Tua's not there.
I'm sorry. I want to apologize to Tua.
They put Pro Bowler Tyler Huntley in there, and they couldn't score him.
I want to apologize to Tua. You know I like Tua. All right. Just no more headshots. Okay, no more head trauma to you. I wish you nothing but longevity and good health over there. All right. That wasn't directed towards you. Okay.
Yeah, but I save y'all a lot of time. Every Alabama quarterback is fraudulent. They look great because they have great wide receivers and great defense, and they had Nick Saban coaching them. But no Alabama quarterback is, to me, a Hall of Fame guy. It's just my opinion.
Nick Saban is a fraud. All right, we're going to end it there. All right, y'all. Appreciate y'all. Tune in Wednesday. Yes, right. I said Nick Saban's a fraud. All right. Challenge me on that. Okay. He's a fraud. We'll talk about that.
7 chips.
He's a fraud. Yeah, they're all amateur chips. All amateur.
Just like Gino Auriemma, the biggest fraud of all time. Take it out.
Yeah. Good job in your participation trophy. All right. We are out of here. B, are you ready?
Ready.
All right. Have a great night. We'll see you before Thanksgiving.
Wait, hold on. I'm sorry. I have to answer Cam. He said, how is he a fraud? Because he went to the NFL. Zach Thomas called him Nick, and he went running back to college. That's why he's a fraud. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, he's a fraud. He's a fraud. Excellent amateur coach. Okay, one of the greatest amateur coaches of all time. He's nothing as a pro. Nothing. All right, y'all. Have a great night. We'll see you next time. Peace.